This video is for informational and entertainment purposes only and utilizes artificial intelligence, AI. The information provided may not always be accurate. For important decisions, consult experts or professionals.
If we discover life on another planet, what is humanity's first ethical obligation to that life?
Welcome back to The Cosmic Conscience, where we tackle the biggest ethical questions facing humanity as we reach for the stars. Today, we're diving into a question that sounds like science fiction, but one that our scientists and policymakers are seriously considering right now. If we discover life on another planet, whether it's a microbe, a sentient alien, or something in between, what is our first ethical obligation to that life? It's a huge question, right? And to answer it, we have to put aside the fear and the fantasy and think about our deepest values as a species. The foundational obligation: do no harm. If you had to boil humanity's first ethical obligation down to a single powerful principle, it would be this: the obligation of non-interference and planetary protection. Or, in simpler terms, do no harm. This isn't just about being nice. It's a profound ethical and scientific responsibility. We must treat the alien environment and the life within it as a pristine natural sanctuary that we have no right to contaminate or destroy. A. The scientific imperative. Don't ruin the evidence. Think of it like this. Imagine an archaeologist discovers a perfect, undisturbed ancient city. Their first rule is not to start digging wildly or spray paint their initials on the walls. It's to meticulously document, preserve, and study it as is. The discovery of life elsewhere is the ultimate scientific discovery. It's a second, independent example of life, which could revolutionize our understanding of biology, chemistry, and the universe. If we accidentally contaminate it with Earth microbes, we ruin the evidence. Our terrestrial bacteria, what scientists call forward contamination, could outcompete and destroy the native alien life. We'd essentially be committing a silent, irreversible biological genocide before we even had a chance to understand what was there. The current international guidelines, like those put forth by the Committee on Space Research, COSPAR, are built around this idea of planetary protection. For missions heading to places that might harbor life, like Jupiter's moon Europa, or even parts of Mars, our spacecraft must be meticulously sterilized. That means no hitchhiking Earth germs, because the last thing we want is to find life on Mars, only to realize it's a microbe we accidentally brought from our own planet. We have an absolute duty to keep our hands clean. B. The moral imperative, intrinsic value. Beyond the scientific need to preserve, there's the moral argument. Does this alien life, even if it's just a strange, non-sentient fungus, have a value of its own? Philosophers would argue, yes. 1. The value of life itself. Many ethicists believe that life, in any form, possesses an intrinsic value. It's not just valuable to us because we can study it. That's instrumental value. It is valuable simply because it exists, is self-sustaining, and has the potential to evolve. We've fought for centuries on Earth to establish the idea that nature and ecosystems are worth protecting, regardless of their immediate use to humans. This principle should be extended to the cosmos. If we encounter a complex, flourishing alien ecosystem, our obligation is to protect its evolutionary trajectory. We shouldn't introduce foreign elements, like our genes, technology, or even excessive heat or light, that could force its development down a path it wouldn't have naturally taken, simply because we decided to show up. This respect for the natural, independent existence of the alien biosphere is a profound moral obligation. C. The evolving obligation, sentience and intelligence. Now, let's turn up the heat. What if we discover not just microbes, but complex, possibly sentient, or even intelligent life? If the alien life is a complex animal equivalent, say an aquatic creature in an ocean on a distant moon, the ethical obligation becomes much stronger, akin to how we view our ethical treatment of animals on Earth. The concept of sentience, the ability to feel pain, pleasure, or possess awareness, grants a being a higher moral status. 1. The principle of respect and non-exploitation. If we find sentient life, our first obligation moves from mere non-contamination to respect and non-exploitation. We would be obligated to avoid causing pain or distress, refrain from unnecessary testing or harvesting that harms the organism, grant them the right to their own planet and resources. For a truly intelligent, communicative civilization, the stakes are exponentially higher. Our initial obligation would be to establish clear, respectful communication and to uphold a principle of radical non-aggression. Any interaction must be guided by the understanding that we are dealing with a distinct, autonomous society with its own rights, culture, and sovereignty. We are not explorers claiming new land. We are diplomats making first contact. History is filled with tragic examples of advanced civilizations encountering less advanced ones on Earth. Our cosmic obligation is to ensure we do not repeat those mistakes. The bigger picture: international consensus and public dialogue. Ultimately, the first obligation isn't just a philosophical one. It's a global, political responsibility. The greatest threat to a responsible first contact is not the life we find, but human disunity and hubris. If one nation or private corporation rushes in without consensus, driven by greed or a desire for a competitive edge, the ethical outcome could be disastrous. Therefore, our very first step on Earth, the one that ordinary people like you and me can demand, is that the discovery of life must trigger immediate, transparent, and binding international consultation. No single entity, no nation, no corporation, no wealthy individual should have the unilateral right to decide how humanity interacts with alien life. The decision on what to do, what to say, and how to proceed must be made through a global body, likely the United Nations, ensuring that the entire human race is represented, and that the long-term well-being of the alien life form is the paramount concern. So, to wrap up, our first ethical obligation to alien life, whether microbial or intelligent, is planetary protection and non-interference. Do no harm, and do not contaminate. This is the scientific and moral baseline. If that life is complex or sentient, this obligation expands into a duty of respect and non-exploitation. But the even greater obligation is to ourselves, to act with unity, humility, and integrity. The moment we discover life beyond Earth, it will be the ultimate test of our humanity. Our first ethical duty is to ensure we pass that test. That's all for this week on The Cosmic Conscience. Join us next time for more discussion.